Airbnb was worth $75 billion, more than Hilton and Marriott combined. It had reshaped an entire industry in under a decade. If anyone had ever stayed in a stranger's apartment in Lisbon and found a handwritten note with restaurant recommendations on the kitchen counter, they understood why. Airbnb hadn't just built a platform, it had changed the way the world travels. Then on May 11, 2022, Brian Chesky announced what he called the biggest change to Airbnb in a decade. Within 3 years, 400,000 hosts were gone. The handwritten notes were gone. The cleaning fees had tripled. The platform that changed travel forever had quietly turned into the hotel chain it was supposed to replace. Guests were even expected to clean the room before they left. The question isn't what happened to Airbnb. The question is what Chesky was still saying about belonging while he was dismantling it. To understand what Airbnb dismantled, you have to see what it actually built, because what it built was specific. In 2008, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia were two design school graduates in San Francisco who could not make rent. A design conference was coming to town and hotels were sold out. They inflated 3 air mattresses in their living room, built a website, and charged $80 a night. 3 strangers showed up. The concept sounded absurd. Paying to sleep on an air mattress in a stranger's apartment. Investors passed. The idea felt reckless. But the 3 people who showed up in San Francisco told their friends, and those friends told theirs. Because the product answered a question nobody in hospitality was asking. Regular people had spare rooms. Travelers wanted something that felt less sterile than a hotel lobby. Airbnb connected them. Spare bedrooms, pull-out couches, entire apartments where the host left a key in the lockbox and a list of their favorite coffee shops on the counter. What the platform sold was not accommodation, it was access to someone's daily life in a city the guest did not know yet. It scaled fast. 1 million bookings by 2010, 12 million by 2012. On July 16, 2014, Airbnb launched the rebrand that would define the company, a new logo called the Below, a new mission statement that Brian Chesky published on Medium himself. 2 words, belong anywhere. CMO Jonathan Mildenhall, hired from Coca-Cola specifically to build the campaign, turned it into a global identity. Chesky told his team this would be the company's mission for the next 100 years. That matters because the mission was accurate. Individual hosts, spare rooms, local knowledge, handwritten notes that nobody in a marketing department wrote. The platform delivered what the slogan promised. The belonging was not a campaign, it was the actual product. By 2019, Airbnb was worth $75 billion. It was built entirely on that promise. Brian Chesky knew exactly what the platform was worth because he knew exactly what it was selling. But a platform built on individual trust does not scale without consequences. The spare rooms started disappearing. In their place were managed properties run by operators with 10, 20, 50 listings across multiple cities. Keypad locks replaced the host who walked guests through the neighborhood. Automated check-in instructions replaced the conversation. Then nothing replaced the conversation at all. The fees followed. Cleaning fees sometimes exceeded the nightly rate. Checkout chore lists asked guests to strip the beds, start the laundry, take out the trash, and mop the kitchen floor. The price of an Airbnb started looking like the price of the Marriott it was supposed to replace, with the added expectation that the guest would clean the room themselves. But the fees were a symptom, not the cause. The listings themselves had changed. Staged furniture, white linens, the same geometric throw pillows in every city. Properties that looked like hotel rooms photographed for Instagram. The sense that nobody actually lived in these places was accurate. Nobody did. The data confirmed it. By 2022, mid-sized operators running 20 to 100 properties had grown from 8% to 11% of all United States listings. Managers with more than 1,000 listings were expanding their portfolios by 27% in a single year. The platform built on individual hosts sharing spare rooms had quietly become a distribution channel for commercial real estate operators. The app looked the same, but the thing underneath it had changed. In May 2022, Brian Chesky announced what he called the biggest change to Airbnb in a decade. He said it was about giving guests better experiences. What he did not say was what it would do to the hosts who built the platform. And what he did not say was what the company's official mission still read on that exact same day. May 11th, 2022, the summer release. This is where the decisions start having dates. Airbnb launched categories. 56 algorithm-driven tabs replaced traditional destination search. Treehouses, tiny homes, amazing pools, and unexpected surprises were each given their own tab. Machine learning classified every listing automatically. Hosts had zero input, zero control over which categories they appeared in. Some hosts reported appearing in no categories at all. The system favored properties with professional photography, unique architectural features, and commercial-grade structured data. Standard apartments and spare rooms became invisible in search results. Hosts flooded the forums within weeks. European hosts reported bookings that fell off a cliff after the redesign rolled out. Threads titled "Algorithm Destroying My Listing" multiplied across the Airbnb Community Center and Reddit. On August 22, 2022, Airbnb raised host cancellation fees from a maximum of $100 to up to $1,000. It was a tenfold increase. Professional operators with dedicated rental properties never cancel. Casual hosts who share their actual home occasionally need it back. That single policy change created a structural penalty for hosting the way Airbnb originally intended. By November 2022, Chesky was recruiting millions of new hosts with a campaign built on the original air mattress story. He invoked the Great Recession. He talked about regular people earning extra income. He talked about belonging. When confronted with host reports that bookings had dropped off a cliff since the summer release, Chesky called it anecdotal and said it was not reflected in the booking figures. That same year, 81,000 listings were removed for not meeting the platform's new quality standards. Standards that did not exist when those hosts joined. The purge accelerated. In November 2023, Airbnb launched Guest Favorites. It was a badge for 2 million listings rated 4.9 stars or higher with strong reliability metrics. Guests could now filter search results to show only guest favorites. Nearly 2/3 of the badge holders were super hosts. Casual hosts with fewer reviews, occasional cancellations, or slightly lower ratings became structurally invisible. The two-tier system was official. On the Big Technology podcast in October 2023, Chesky said it directly. If somebody has a property that is of lower value, it's going to get downranked in search results. That same month, in a Bloomberg interview, the company admitted, "We never fully built the foundation." By 2025, 400,000 listings had been removed. The hosts who embodied belonging, people renting a spare room, people with day jobs who could not respond in 60 seconds, families who occasionally needed their home back, were priced out, downranked, and removed from the platform they helped build. Every one of these changes had an announcement, a press release, a product launch. But there was one thing Airbnb never announced, and it is the thing that tells you everything about what they actually decided. Belong Anywhere was never retired. There was no announcement, no rebrand, no press release, no internal communication saying the mission had changed. It simply continued. While Airbnb removed 81,000 listings in 2022, while cancellation penalties increased tenfold, while the algorithm buried casual hosts in search results, while Chesky dismissed host complaints as anecdotal on earnings calls, the corporate mission statement still read, "Create a world where anyone can belong anywhere." It appeared in SEC filings, investor presentations, executive interviews. An April 2022 executive Q&A confirmed it was still the active mission. The same month, the penalty changes launched. In November 2022, Chesky himself invoked the belonging origin story to recruit new hosts onto a platform that was being restructured against the hosts already on it. He told the air mattress story. He talked about community. He used the word belonging. The same month, 81,000 listings were being removed for not meeting standards that did not exist when those hosts signed up. The consumer advertising had moved on years earlier. Made possible by hosts, replaced the tagline in 2021. Product campaigns followed. But the corporate mission, the one in the filings, the one in the investor decks, the one executives confirmed on the record, stayed exactly where it was. Because it was still working, not on the hosts, on the people booking. On the people who still believe that Airbnb meant something different from a hotel. The belonging was real. The decision to keep selling it after it was gone was deliberate, and the proof is not a leaked memo or a whistleblower. The proof is public. Belong anywhere is still Airbnb's mission statement today. On a platform where the hosts who made belonging possible have been systematically priced out, downranked, and removed, the slogan is not the promise anymore, it is the evidence. Airbnb is not the only platform that kept the language running after the substance was gone. That pattern repeats. The companies change, the mechanism does not. Every few weeks, this channel documents another one. The evidence, the dates, the decisions they made while they were still talking. Subscribe so the next one shows up in your feed. These stories do not trend, they get buried. If you do not see it when it drops, you probably will not see it at all.